Okay, Capella, this is Stan. Are you ready to do today's podcast between me and you?
Yes, Dan, I am ready. Welcome to our podcast. Today we're going to be discussing US Code 18 Vessel 2387 concerning activities affecting military personnel. Stan, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, there's been a lot of controversy across the United States. There has been at least 6 Democratic senators that have been accused by the Republicans of committing sedition on statements they've made on public TV about the American service members being able to refuse lawful orders, and it is their duty to refuse lawful orders. So today we're going to break it down and find out who is right, who is wrong, and the real truth about the situation.
That's right. There's been a lot of discussion around these statements. We'll be looking at the specific wording and comparing it to US Code 18 Vessel 2387 and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. By the way, it looks like the statements were made by members of Congress, not specifically senators. But that doesn't change the core of our discussion. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes. Could you first give us the actual verbatim of Code 182387?
Of course, US Code 18 Vessel 2387 states, A. Whoever, with intent to interfere with, impair, or hinder the efficiency or operation of the armed forces of the United States, or of any component thereof, conspires to commit any offense defined in Section 2384 or 2385 of this title, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both. B. Whoever, with the intent described in subsection A of this section, advises, counsels, urges, or insubordinates disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal to perform military service or obey orders in the armed forces of the United States, or of any component thereof, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both. Would you like to discuss any specific parts of this section?
Before we go into that, can you read us the specific word per verbatim that the 6 Democratic congressmen used on public TV? And you can give it to us in any order. It doesn't make any difference.
I'm not sure I caught what you said just now. Could you please repeat what you're asking for?
What I'd like you to do is tell us the exact verbatim of what 6 Congress members stated on public TV within the last 4 or 5 days about the U.S. military not having to follow unlawful orders.
According to recent reports, 6 Democratic members of Congress released a video stating, "Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse illegal orders." Does that answer your question?
Yes, but can you tell us what each individual congressperson said one at a time?
So, to be precise, the 6 Democratic Congress members released a video stating, "Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse illegal orders." While they made a joint statement like this, specific comments by individual members vary. For instance, Senator Alyssa Slotkin mentioned being contacted by troops with questions about the legality of certain operations, and Representative Jason Crow emphasized that the oath is to the Constitution, not to any leader. Would you like to delve into any specific senator's statement further?
No. Let's go ahead and start our discussion now. I think the American people have heard the U.S. code, and the American people have heard what the Democratic Democratic Congress members have said on public TV. And let's go, and I'll let you have the floor first. What are your thoughts on what the Democratic Party has released to the media?
Thank you, Stan. The Democratic Party members have emphasized the constitutional duty to refuse unlawful orders, which aligns with the Uniform Code of Military Justice. This aspect of their statement appears consistent with established legal principles. What are your thoughts on this alignment?
That seems to be, although very disappointing on the Democratic Party side, but they went right up to stepping over the line. And matter of fact, they probably put their toe on the line.
That's disappointing.
But I don't think they went to the point of crossing the line and putting themselves in jeopardy of getting convicted.
That's an interesting perspective, Stan. It sounds like you believe their statements came close to the line, but didn't actually cross into illegality. What factors do you consider crucial in determining whether that line has been crossed?
Well, I think what they did was wrong, but I don't think it was illegal. That's the best way I could put it in simple terms.
Got it. That makes sense. So, your judgment is that while the Democratic Party members' statements were ill-advised, they did not constitute a criminal offense. Given this, how would you like to conclude your podcast episode?
Well, I'm a Republican, and I think the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. They have been fighting this president from day one. The thing is they've got a case of butthurt because they lost the House, they lost the Senate, and they lost the presidency because they run a failed candidate in Kamala Harris. And they don't have any way to do anything whatsoever towards running the government, except for trying any and everything they can do to advert what the American people voted for in Donald Trump and try to stop him in any way from getting his job done. So, in my opinion, the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. Of course, we all know that they're not, because they really don't care. There's only two things that the Democrats care about, and that is money and power. If that's all, that's the only thing they get up in the morning for. That's the only thing they work all day for. And that's what they think about and dream about when they go to bed at night, is having power and being able to get money out of the American people's pockets. And anytime they're not in power, then they can't get money out of the American people's pockets, and they're butthurt. So they're going to get on and do everything they can. But one day, one of them, or more than one of them, is going to cross the line. And it's going to come back to bite them in that butthurt. What's your opinion?
Well, Stan, political parties often pursue policies that differ from the president's agenda. Their stated goal is to exercise oversight and ensure government operates within the bounds of the law. We've discussed the legal framework, and as we conclude, it's for the public to decide how they view these actions. Would you like to add anything further?
No, I think we've tried to be fair and balanced. I've admitted that I'm a Republican. We all know that you are a Google Gemini large language model running Flash 2.5. And I think we've tried to go down the middle and be as fair and as honest about this as possible. Before we leave the podcast today, is there a disclaimer that you would like to make?
Yes, Stan, there is. As stated, I am a large language model trained by Google, and my aim is to provide objective information. The views expressed by Stan are his own. Our discussion aims to explore various aspects of the topic at hand and provide a platform for different perspectives. We leave it to our listeners to form their own conclusions. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. We will be back next week with another topic.